Coming to you from Bravo Performing Arts, this is The Hour to Empower, the podcast created by Brooks students for Brooks students.
Today, you'll hear many of our series, including What's Up, Traveling in Quarantine, Below the Whistle, and the debut of our newest segments, Tech Talk, Politics for Teens, Breakdown, and Game Night Live.
Do you want to learn about creating a podcast? Do you have an idea for a topic or a podcast segment? Any 6th, 7th, or 8th grader can join our team at any time. We meet every Tuesday and Thursday after school. If you'd like to join or want to know more, please email bravo@op97.org.
If you like what you hear today, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube for the latest episodes of Hour to Empower.
Okay, enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Mateo, and you may have heard some interesting stuff going on in the stock market recently, and so I'm here to break it down for you. First, we have to understand the terms shorting and hedge fund companies. A hedge fund company is a group of many rich people who come together and invest in stocks. They usually use some bad tactics, one of which is called shorting. And by bad, I mean morally incorrect. Or, depending on who you are, have to consider all points of views. Shorting is the process of taking a bunch of stocks out of one company and make the stock price go down a lot. And by doing that, other people want to take their stocks out, and then it becomes a cycle where everyone's selling their stocks, making the stock price go down. Then the company can rebuy the stocks at a cheaper price, allowing them to get a profit. Usually shorting happens when a company is doing bad. Take GameStop, for example, which is what we've all been hearing about. GameStop has been doing bad due to the increase of digital sales within video games and decrease of physical sales. So they have already been down. And then these hedge fund companies take advantage of that situation and try to short them. But there is one group on Reddit, or two at least, that decided that they wanted to combat these hedge fund companies and devised a plan where they gather a group of Redditors and they'd all invest in GameStop, making the price go up. This, in turn, made the big hedge fund companies lose a lot of money because they had to buy the stocks at a more expensive price. This, however, made other people realize, hey, GameStop stock is going up. I should probably invest, making the stock rise even more. And these unknown Redditors are somehow became millionaires within a week. And that is the breakdown for you.
Hello, welcome to Plus and Minus, a show where we talk about the pros and cons of the world today. Today we are talking about
COVID, all the wonderful pros and cons of our quarantine life. Pros. It's important to note that although the virus has disrupted the earth, there are some pros to it too.
Pro number 1. You finally get to learn how to bake and watch a video on how to gut a turkey. Do you know how many people have dreamed of baking?
Pro number 2. You get to binge on Netflix. I don't know about all of you guys, but binging is very time-consuming, and it's putting Netflix in the books.
Pro number 3. I have nothing.
It's also important to note that there are many, many cons to our current predicament.
Con number 1. Plastic buildup. Plastic production has skyrocketed because of the virus, because of thrown away masks and plastic gloves. And also disinfectant bottles.
Con number 2. All of us are out of work, so some can't even pay for Netflix.
Con number 3. Eye damage. So many people are straining their eyes and hurting their brain by staring at a screen for too long, whether it be for school, work, family time over Zoom, or scrolling on, oh, the godly Facebook.
Con number 4. You finally realize you miss school. A lot of students say they, quote, hated school, but ever since remote learning came into play, plus COVID, people have realized school is a big outlet for socialization.
Con number 5. You can go to some indoor places because of COVID-19 precautions, but you always have those dang Trump supporters without a mask not being cautious. What have we come to?
Anyway, hope you guys out there in the world, the abyss, have used this time to reflect on your new/old pandemic lives.
Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to the Politics for Teens segment. Hi, my name is Christopher, and today we will be talking about recent events in U.S. politics. Quick disclaimer, some of the stuff I say is my opinion, so do not take it personally if I say something you do not agree with. Anyways, here we go. As Donald Trump's presidency has come to an end, I want to talk about the lasting impact former President Trump has had on our country, changing the way a president can talk, act, and react. So Trump has changed the way a president can talk, act, and react, whether you like it or not. An example of this is when multiple news sources called the election for Joe Biden. He started a rampage of just making baseless claims that the election was a fraud. He continued his tantrum for months, even going as far as not attending the inauguration. But in history, the last person to not attend the inauguration was Andrew Johnson, and that was in 1869. So Trump has broken an almost 150-year streak. Thanks, Trump. Aside from joking, this is actually bad too, because Trump has shown that he can do this and still keep his support. So him doing this could inspire future presidents to not attend the inauguration. Democracy depends on losers accepting defeat and winners governing for everyone. Another example of Trump acting differently than other presidents is his complete disregard of science. For example, in history and with other Republican presidents, they've actually paid attention to science. For example, George W. Bush in 2005 announced a plan for a future pandemic and looked into actual science while doing it. But Trump, during the COVID-19 pandemic, has completely attacked the CDC and the WHO. And to make it worse, he asked the White House task force if we could look into maybe injecting disinfectant, which he later said was sarcastic. But when he said it, he sounded very serious. And anyways, even if he was being sarcastic, that's not something you should joke about. This could inspire future leaders to ignore science when their decisions need to be guided by truth. One more example of this is on January 6, 2021, Trump held a rally and told people to, quote, fight hard. And after that, the supporters went down to the Capitol building and started breaking into it. Why this is bad is when he swore an oath of office, he said he would support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that was a domestic threat. But anyways, it was a fitting end to his presidency. And oh, am I glad it's over. Thank you for listening to the Politics for Teens segment of the podcast. This has been Christopher Deneen. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blow the Whistle, the best sports podcast out there. And I'm your host, Liam Nicolakakis. And today, we're going to be looking at my 2 favorite predictions that I had made and talking about who's going to win in the Super Bowl. Alright, guys, so a while ago, I made some predictions on the NFL playoffs, and I'm going to show you my 2 favorite and talk a little bit about them. Then I'm going to tell you my predictions for who will win the Super Bowl, where it will be the Buccaneers versus the Chiefs. All this coming soon. Now, let's get in. Here's number 1, where I predicted the game where it was the Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints. Boy, was I wrong. Now let's look at Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. Both teams have very good defenses, but Tampa Bay is a little step ahead of New Orleans. But the New Orleans offense is much better than Tampa Bay's, with Drew Brees and Kamara and many more weapons, like Hill, their backup quarterback who does a lot of trick plays. While Tom Brady is one of the best QBs in the game and has Rob Gronkowski, it's still not the same because they don't have a full team of good wide receivers and good players all around, while the Saints do. So in this game, I think the Saints will beat the Bucks. In this one, the Bucks really surprised me, beating the Saints 30-20 in this unexpected win for them. Most people don't like Tom Brady and don't like to see him go to the playoffs, including me. But we have to admit that he is one of the best NFL players ever. And he led a team that sucked last year to the playoffs like this and is winning against teams. It's pretty crazy. We may not like him, but he is one of the greatest of all time in the NFL. And him and the Bucks today in this game played amazing. Now here's the second one, where I got it right and predicted a great, exciting match between the Chiefs and the Bills, which turned out to be a great game. Then in the AFC, it would be the Chiefs versus the Bills, which would be a very close game, with both teams almost pretty equivalent to each other. But I think the Chiefs are a little bit ahead of the Bills, and being the Chiefs, they could definitely put the Bills in their place. If Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill pop off, they will definitely outscore the Bills. And the KC defense is known to pop off, and they can play very good. It's going to be a very tough call, and this one could go both ways. It's going to be a very close game. And yeah, but the Chiefs are probably going to take it. I think with this kind of playoff experience from last year's winning the Super Bowl, they'll have an advantage on the Bills, who haven't been to the Super Bowl or even the playoffs in a while. That's why the Chiefs will probably win this one. This one I got correct, and this one was a really good game. In the beginning, it looked like the Bills might have actually had a chance, and they were winning for a bit. But then the Kansas Chiefs crushed their dreams and absolutely destroyed the Bills. They scored a lot of points, played good defense, and overall did a great job against the Bills after a little of a misstep of the first quarter was over. That was my second prediction, and that was right. The playoff games have been played, and the top two teams that have come out have been the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buccaneers. These two teams will clash in the Super Bowl to try and win the title and be the best team this year. Now, who do you think will win? I have my bets on the Chiefs. They won last year, so they have the good experience. And they have a really, really good chemistry as a team with a great defense and amazing offensively. While the Buccaneers have pulled off some amazing underdog wins against the Packers and the New Orleans Saints, I don't think they'll be able to do it against the Chiefs. The Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady, just don't have a lot of chemistry together and are still getting used to each other with only 1 year. With only 1 year together, they can't do as much as a Chiefs team who have been tight-knit and been practicing together for a long time. This is why I think the Chiefs will win. And on February 7th, we'll find out. And that's it for today's pod segment. Thank you for listening to Blow the Whistle. I'm your host, Liam Nikolakakis, signing out.
Hello, everybody! And actually, you already know the intro. But for those of you who don't, welcome to What's Dup, a segment where we talk about what's trending up what's trending down, and what's good. First off, let's just say that this is our first new Hour to Empower podcast episode of 2021! Thank you. Anyways, let's talk about today's segment. Now, in today's episode, we will be bringing you a direct interview with Miss Reynolds, the Bravo Artistic Director and Program Manager. Now, for those of you who don't know Bravo is an award-winning performing arts program at Brooks that has stretched its links to workshops, summer programs, and even this podcast. If you would like to learn more, like how to sign up for one of their shows or be part of their advisory board, go on and head over to bravoperformingarts.org. Now, for the interview with Miss Reynolds. Okay, right now we are virtually with Miss Reynolds, here to talk with her about how she and her team have been able to make Bravo have the same feeling and spirit as it did in person. Hi, Miss Reynolds.
Hi, Kieran. Thanks so much for having me today.
Yeah. The first question is, what was the hardest part about the transition between in-person Bravo and virtual Bravo?
Oh, that's a great question. So, when everything closed down on March 12th, we were in the middle to actually more toward the end of producing a musical called Moana. Sets were done, costumes were done, the show was almost done. So to then visualize how to transpose and transform the setting and the choreography and telling the story to a virtual component was really, really challenging. We pivoted quickly to Zoom and started having some virtual rehearsals. And, Zoom, of course, it's really meant for meetings and for one voice. And with Bravo, we do so much singing, and virtual online Zoom musicals, it's really challenging to do vocals online. So what we had to do was kids had to record their own vocal parts and upload them. Ensemble numbers were video recorded, like all of their personal choreography. And then we were able to actually do kind of like some scene work and ensemble numbers on Zoom to lessen the load on all of the performers. And then teaching vocals on Zoom is also much more challenging because you can't hear each other. So everyone has to mute themselves. And so it's kind of like the honor system, right? Like you're hoping that everyone is learning what they're supposed to be learning. Finding a way for everyone to be excited about Bravo, because I think part of the magic of Bravo is looking forward to getting together after school and connecting with your friends. With Zoomsicles, you can connect, but it's just really kind of hard to create that special bond that you get in person. But I would say the hardest part was probably, like, to summarize, teaching vocals on Zoom.
Right.
But it's also the missing just being in person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I know that sometimes just being in person, you can really see if somebody is having some trouble with something, you can really see what's going on, but it might be harder in virtual Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually leads us to our next question, which was, if there was one more resource you wish you could have to help with virtual Bravo, what would it be?
Oh, hands down, I wish that there was a software platform or a program that would give us the ability to sing all together, to hear each other. Because, making music together is inspiring. It's chilling. It helps in us telling a story, and I think it's just part of the transformative power of musical theater. I think the other change would obviously be if there was a resource that we could have. I mean, I guess it's hard to say a resource, but if there was just a way that we could be together, safely.
Right.
But as far as a resource, yeah, I think someone needs to invent something, maybe for you and your friends to think about, like especially if you're really into technology, is develop a software that will help choirs and musical theater programs to be able to sing together.
Right. Yeah, I think that would actually be really helpful because, like, one of the big things about musicals is the music. So having something to really help with the vocals. Yeah. So our next question is, this can be in terms of virtual Bravo or in-person Bravo, but how does Bravo really kind of keep that spirit alive, that sense of togetherness?
Yeah. Well, Kieran, I firmly believe that to keep spirit, you have to have spirit. So I believe that fostering passion and inspiring others from a director and from a team, from the Bravo directors, that by us expressing and showing passion from ourselves and believing that even if we're doing virtual theater, it makes a difference in the lives of our students and it engages them and it helps us connect, that spirit will be passed on to the kids. I believe so strongly in the benefits of theater. So whether it's with music or without, there's just so much that we can learn. The teamwork, the camaraderie, the building confidence, the telling of stories. So my hope for this year was really to instill that in our students, but also to instill a sense of community and resilience in our program and for our students and our families. We also looked to you, our students, to help us with that. So I think, like, even with Hour to Empower, I love that you are creating this content, that, knowing that your directors and your teachers and your instructors believe in you and give you that sense of empowerment. We hope that continues to drive the spirit and that inspires our students.
Yeah. I understand that because, like, the podcast is something that really helps people to connect and kind of do things together.
Well, and thinking about the Bravo programming this year and how it was going to look so different, part of what leads to success is embracing adversity, embracing the challenges. And so in doing so, when I was thinking about it, I thought, well, we're on computers, we're online, let's create a radio show, let's create a video blog. And that's how I kind of came up with the idea of the podcast. Yeah, and just giving the you guys and the students the opportunity to continue to celebrate each other and share your voices. And I am giddy with excitement just seeing how it's blossomed into such an amazing program. And now we all look forward to, hearing what our Brooks students have to say.
Yeah, thank you. And our final question is, do you have any extra tips for people trying to do some form of performing arts virtually, like something to kind of keep the audience's attention?
Some tips. Well, I guess generally, I would just say is, don't be afraid. Like, sometimes it's really hard to be brave and try new things, but the joy and the rewards that can come out of that are so empowering. I think with virtual theater, we've moved to an entirely new space. We're not in the auditorium anymore, right? We're all in our own homes. And so a big tip that I always have for the students is, when you are in school all day and you're on Zoom and then Bravo starts is move to another place. So find a space, find a place in your home that you can spread out, that, you know, has great Wi-Fi, that has good lighting, and that it makes you feel good. So I think students, part of the joy of Bravo is after school walking into the auditorium, or for the crew students going into the scene shop, you know, those spaces became their home away from home.
Yeah.
And not that you shouldn't be in a place that you feel really good in when you're taking your classes, but I think moving to another space is like a reboot. It gives the sense of walking into just a new space, you know? And then, like other little tips that I guess, you know, I would give students is wireless headphones, I think, can be a real game changer, especially with doing anything theatrical, because it gives you the opportunity to move around, right? I have gotten really used to using two devices. So I have a device that I do Zoom on, and then I have another device that I have notes on and scripts and things like that. And I think that's really helpful. I think keeping your video on so you can really stay engaged and connect with each other, you know, when you're in class, and even when, again, you're doing theater, even though it's so different, I think that's important just for us to feel each other and to make eye contact and, you know, embrace the intimacy that being virtual creates. And then I guess a big tip that I would have for like a director or a teacher or an instructor is just plan your season with plays and musicals that really translate into a virtual realm. So, you know, shows that are monologue based and have a strong element of solos and duets and scenes that can really showcase your students.
Yeah, I totally understand that, yeah. And the two devices thing, I think, is also really helpful because sometimes it can be hard to, like, try to transition from, like, the Zoom to the tab with your script or the tab with something else, so.
Wow! Thank you, Miss Reynolds. What nice answers to questions. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode consisting of an incredible interview. I'm Kieran, and I'll see you next time on What's Up?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Traveling in Quarantine. I'm your host, Murray Spencer. I know we just got back from winter break, and I know after you listen to this, you'll be like, Murray, why didn't you tell us this before winter break? Well, I did not think of the idea, so I'm doing it right now. Today I'm going to talk about what are the best places to go in the winter and in the summer, so let's get into it. One of the best places to go in the summer is Italy. Italy has so much to offer. Cities, ruins, museums, mountains, and beaches. One of the great joys of traveling through Italy is discovering firsthand that it is, indeed, a dream vacation. Something Italy is famous for is the huge contributes to the worlds of art, fashion, opera, literature, design, and film. And trust me, the list goes on. And I haven't even mentioned the food yet. One of the best places to go in the winter is Rome. Rome has breathtaking buildings and monuments, including works of art, small-town charm, and the entire city is worth a visit at least once. Though it would take a lifetime to see all it has to offer. And nobody does fountains like Rome does. There are so many fountains in Rome, like the Trevi Fountain, the Fountain of Naods, the Fountain of the Four Rivers, and I could go on. Like, I'm serious. Rome has a lot of fountains. That is all for Traveling in Quarantine. Today we learned about what are the best places to go in the winter and in the summer. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Bye.
Hello, and welcome to another segment of Tech Talk with your host, Gavin Griffin. Today I will be talking about the most popular gaming consoles. From the website top10reviews.com, the authors rated the best consoles for 2021. Here is a summary. In 5th place, it's a tie between PS4 Pro and Nintendo Switch Lite. The PS4 Pro has the best exclusive library and can support virtual reality headsets. However, the PS4 Pro does not have the 4K Blu-ray player and it only takes Sony's VR headset. The Nintendo Switch Lite is the best handheld console. However, its downside is that not all games on the regular Switch can be played on the Nintendo Switch Lite. Honestly, I don't think that these two devices should be a tie. I just think that the PlayStation 4 Pro should be in 5th and the Nintendo Switch Lite in 6th. My reason for this is because this is just a summary and there's a lot more to it. An example would be I don't think the Nintendo Switch Lite supports VR headsets, and games that do have them can and will be cool. In 4th place, they rated Xbox One S. A positive is that this offers the best value, but the downside is that it lacks power compared to other devices. I really like the fact that there's a 4K Blu-ray player, but the biggest problem that I see with it is that it doesn't have many exclusive games. The 3rd place goes to the Nintendo Switch, which offers the best hybrid games console. However, it is known to have really bad online service. I really like how this is like a traditional gaming console, but can be switched to a handheld device. 2nd place goes to Xbox Series X. It is considered the most powerful console on the market, and it's really quiet, which your parents and yourself may like. The downside is that it doesn't offer exclusive games, and it may be the priciest console on the market. Even though it's pricey, it does have a 4K Blu-ray player and the Xbox Game Pass. And in 1st place, the PlayStation 5. It is rated to have the best exclusive games, and since it's so fast, the authors of this article say you'll never see a loading screen again. According to the authors, the reason to avoid this PS5 is that it is, quote-unquote, ugly and huge. But if you can live with that, you'll be very happy with this device. Thank you so much for listening to this segment on gaming consoles. Bye for now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, or welcome to Game Night Live, a show where we break the latest, hottest games down to their cores. If you're looking for video games, then get out of here, because here we talk, learn, and review board games, card games, and any other game that does not include electronic devices. Okay, well today we are going to be reviewing Taco, Cat, Goat, Cheese, Pizza, a game where the objective is to get rid of all your cards and be the first to slap a match. You'll understand when I explain it. Okay, so here is how to play. You can have 3 to as many players as you can fit around the deck of cards. You shuffle all the cards and then distribute them equally. The person to the dealer's left puts a card in the center, face up, saying Taco. The person on his left then puts her card face up on top of his, while saying Cat. It continues this way, going Taco, Cat, Goat, Cheese, Pizza, like the name, until the following happens. First, what could happen is the card that you put down matches what you're saying. So, let's say you say taco and you put down a taco. Then everybody races to put their hands down on top of the pile. If you're the last person to do it, then you collect all of the cards, which is bad because you need to have no cards to win. And you need to be the first one to stop the pile. Okay. So another thing that could happen is you could put down one of the 3 special cards. One of them could be Gorilla, where when you place it down, you have to beat your chest like a gorilla. One of them could be Groundhog, where you knock on the table or on your legs, like this. you could put down narwhal, where you slap your hands above your head to form a horn. And after you do that, then it's the same. You try to slide your hand under and touch the cards. It goes around like this until one person has 0 cards. But the game doesn't end there. The person has to continue to say their phrase even though they're not placing down any cards. So, you would say your phrase and not place down any cards. And they'll continue to try to get their hand under. If they were the first person to slap it, then they win. The game ends. Okay, very simple, very fun, and very hand slapping. And as I look at some of the reviews, it is very small and very portable. Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza has a 4.8 out of 5 review out of 14,010 people global. 87% 5 stars, 9% 4 stars, 3% 3 stars, and 1% for 2 and 1 stars. There is many different people that have reviewed it, and they've all loved it very much. Most of the top reviews are all 5 stars. It's a great gift for anybody. It can be a little bit dangerous if you have sensitive hands. And make sure to not have a very slappy person play it. One person said it's the greatest hand-crushing game ever. So, are you ready to play? Thanks for listening. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time on Game Night Live.
This was the Hour to Empower podcast, a podcast by Brooks students for Brooks students. We are your essential source for news, comedy, interviews, and more. Hour to Empower is brought to you by Bravo Performing Arts in Gwendolyn Brooks Middle School. For more information on how you can be part of our shows, clubs, and classes offered by Bravo, please go to bravoperformingarts.org and subscribe to us on YouTube for the latest episodes of Hour to Empower. Thank you for listening.